everyone, and welcome to the third episode of the Inside Scoop, the only advice column podcast for kids. This week, you guys have sent me in 3 really good questions, and if I do say so myself, I think this episode is going to be really interesting. But before we get on to that, if you want your own questions answered in my podcast, just voice message me through Anchor or email me at insidescoopquestions@gmail.com. Now, let's get right into today's podcast. Alright guys, it's time for our very first question of the day. And even though I got this one by email, and I'm going to be reading it out loud, I've been dying to say this. Aria, what's the scoop? Dear Anya, my friends will never take my side in an argument. Whatever point I make, they always oppose it. Now I know that you'll say that everyone has opinions, but they disagree every time. I really want to give them a taste of their own medicine. Shouldn't friends at least back you up? And it's not even like that they aren't good friends. Aside from that whole never taking my side thing, they're really nice. Now, when they have arguments, I always take their sides. And that's why I can't take your suggestion if you say find new friends. That's because I don't want to. There was this one instance when me and someone at school were having a debate. Her friends came along and I saw a look of relief on her face. She knew that they would take her side. Then my friends walked by. I wasn't that convinced they would take my side though. And I was right. After listening to both points, they took my opponent's side. I was furious. Now, if you say I should talk it out, I don't think that'll work either. I personally think that's corny and I don't want to seem like a crybaby. Now that I've given you the whole situation and told you a bunch of advice I won't follow, what do you think I should do? Okay, Aria, you told me a lot of things you wouldn't want to do. First, you told me that it wasn't just their opinion, and I wholeheartedly agree. Everyone is allowed to have an opinion, but friends definitely need to back their friends up. Then you told me you wouldn't want to find new friends, and that's not a piece of advice I would give you. I've seen some advice columns where people just say, find some new friends, and that's a lot easier said than done. If you've known someone forever, how can you just stop being friends with them? Then you told me you didn't want to talk it out. Now, that's a piece of advice I would give you, because that's what people normally do in situations like that. But you told me you thought it was corny, and I agree on that too. It would seem a little bit babyish. But you're going to have to talk to your friends eventually, so maybe you'll feel more comfortable talking to them once they know how it feels. You told me that you always take your friends' sides in arguments. How about just this once, you take their opponent's side? I know that seems mean, but it's just like that phrase, treat others the way you want to be treated. Your friends will know how it feels if you do that. Afterwards, they're probably going to ask you why you didn't take their side. You can ask them in return why they never take your side. If they have a good answer, they probably didn't realize they were doing it. If they don't, maybe you'll realize who is your friend and who isn't. Thanks for calling, Aria. Okay guys, it's time for our second caller of the day. This question was sent by Anchor voice message by caller 2. Caller 2, what's up? What's the scoop?
Hey, so I'm really good at painting and I put hours into each work of art for our school, right? People say that I react to criticism badly, but come on, is it really my fault? If you put hours into drawing and someone pointed the flaws in it, you would feel bad too, you know? So my parents always say I need to learn how to fix things that people point out, but I don't like criticism in general. So it makes me annoying. Any ideas?
Okay, caller 2. I face the same exact problem as you do. Criticism is so annoying. Now, if I were to give you this answer, it would probably go something like, criticism sucks and it shouldn't even be invented. That's why I didn't give you the answer, and I asked my friend for some help. My friend said that yes, people criticize, but you'll have to get used to it. It's life. When you get a job, you make money, etc., people are going to criticize your work. You can't do much about it, and if you get annoyed, you'll probably be fired too. So you're going to have to find a way to accept the criticism and not let it get inside your head. And to be honest, I probably should be taking that advice too. Thanks for calling, caller 2. Okay, guys, our third question was sent by an email by Speaking Up. They said, Dear Anya, for some reason, everyone thinks of me as a little kid, even though I'm already 12 years old. My opinion should be heard, or at least I think so. I mean, there are some 12-year-olds who have changed the world. And look at me. My parents listen to what I have to say, and the answer was something like, yeah, that's good. I know that they're not taking what I'm saying seriously. It's so frustrating. I have some pretty good ideas if I do say so myself. Like once, they were trying to figure out a way to get less traffic in school, and I suggested they make 2 drop-off lines. It would have worked perfectly, but nope. They say that they'll take it into account, then forget about it. How do I make my opinion heard? From Speaking Up. Well, speaking up, that answer is actually really simple. If you want your opinion to be heard, all you have to do is make it worth listening to. So you know that your parents don't take you seriously since you're a kid. All you have to do is change that perception. Help out more around the house and be an equal contributor in discussions. Give ideas and do chores that you wouldn't normally do. Don't expect them to change their view on you immediately. It'll take time. Act like you know exactly what's going on. Before long, you'll be a part of the discussion too. Act mature, and you'll get what you want. Thanks for sending in your question, Speaking Up. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Inside Scoop. Even though it was longer than usual, let me know if you want to see longer or shorter episodes in the future. Also, if you want your own questions answered in my podcast, just voice message me through Anchor or email me at insidescoopquestions@gmail.com. I'll see you next time on the Inside Scoop, the only advice column podcast for kids.